Tuperas y Tuperas. Today on Doop by the River, bringing you guys the Charlotte FC preview. Obviously, our unit are back in action this upcoming weekend, and today we are going to be previewing Saturday night's matchup. And don't you dare go anywhere, guys, because you do not want to miss this episode of Doop by the River. Let's get this started, guys. Hey,
Doop by the River
doesn't do anything well. There is not one.
I'm sorry. There was no creativity.
As a Union fan, I take that all day.
Another DP. We need to go get Mario Balotelli. And that is right. Welcome, everyone, to Doop by the River, the show where we follow everything Philadelphia. Of course, we are brought to you by Sports Network. Before we dive into today's preview, ladies and gentlemen, do us a solid. Make sure you guys hit that like button. Already, that would truly mean the world to us. And subscribe for all of your Doop by the River live viewings. And, of course, make sure to find us on PSN Radio. And you can find that wherever you stream podcasts from Apple, Google, and Spotify. Well, ladies and gentlemen, today not only the Charlotte FC preview, but surrounded by goalkeepers. Yes, ladies and gentlemen. No, I know we had Leon Flock yesterday. We do not have Andre Blake here or Matty Freeze. But first off, let's start off with our expert in duping here today. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Justin, number one ball goalkeeper in CONCACAF Freiburg. What's up, Justin? How you feeling, brother?
Feeling pretty good. You know, we got back-to-back recording nights. Got a lot of positive feedback from our talk with Leon. People appreciated, you know, the insights to the little German engine that could for the Union midfield. But hey, you know, we're back at it talking about the new darlings of MLS, the one of the teams that people can't decide, are they good or are they okay? I mean, that's the consensus with you know, them, Austin, Cincinnati. It's like it's just a revolving. Are they or are they not?
Absolutely.
So I'm excited to get down to talk a little Charlotte FC.
Absolutely. We'll definitely find that out tonight, whether Charlotte FC are pretenders or contenders for sure. But real quick, thank you for everyone who checked out yesterday's pod. It was a great time talking to Leon Flock. Truly a gentleman that Lee is. And make sure you guys, if you haven't already, check that out, because like Justin said, some really good insight that we got from your left shuttle midfielder, ladies and gentlemen. All right, but enough.
Give him some solid tips for checking out the city. He did say he's 21 years old. He wants to check out a little more of the nightlife. So I'm sure we can pass some recommendations on Leon's way. If anyone knows anything in Center City, in the heart of the city.
Yes, sir, mate. Let's get them the. Well, we can't do the Broad Street crawl anymore. Unfortunately, Broad Street Tavern on Broad Street is closed. But we can find a nice little crawl to do in Philadelphia. It's definitely not hard to do. Absolutely. All right. Well, Justin, let's bring on now the other goalkeeper, and of course, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Charlotte FC preview. So we're going to give you the insights from Charlotte FC. And ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, an old friend of mine, please welcome the Charlotte FC color commentator, Jess Charmaine. What's going on? How you?
I'm doing very well, thank you, guys. Thank you so much for having me. And I am the goalkeeper with a little bit more hair on today's podcast.
We went there today, Justin. I love it. She definitely, listen. She comes with a little spice, and we definitely love that here. We definitely missed there for that. I love the setup as well, Jess. I got to say. Now, so for people who do not know, I found out about Jess from back in the day. And literally, I'm talking 2 years ago. Not really that far back in the day. We're not that old yet, ladies and gentlemen. But Jess was part of the Unrelegated podcast, and it really got me in her and just the fantastic soccer mind, or football, because obviously we want to show love to our Brits out there. She was an excellent football mind. And from then on, love seeing her to what she's doing now as the Charlotte FC color commentator. Now, this is a local radio station you're doing color commentation, correct, Jess?
Yeah, it is. It's WFNZ, so the local radio station, but it's getting good views and people are loving it. So very grateful to have the opportunity.
Absolutely. Now, we got to mention, I mean, obviously, the big match, it was probably the highlight of the early part of the MLS season, the home opener for Charlotte FC. amazing scenes first off, and someone obviously who's grown up watching American football and watching Bank of America Stadium for Panthers games. I've never seen it like that for a Panthers game, honestly. And in the short amount of time I watched football, I've never seen it that packed, and that was a truly incredible night. Kind of your takeaways from that incredible opening in Bank of America Stadium.
Look, without a doubt, one of the best nights of my life. These are the things you dream of when you want to get involved in soccer, being a part of that moment, having the opportunity to call the game. When you looked around the stadium, it was truly representative of what soccer is. We talk about it being the world sport, and maybe not in America is it embraced quite in the same way as across the world, but this was a reassuring moment for us that really want soccer to make its way in the United States, because 74,000+ people watching there, breaking Atlanta United's record, which obviously meant a lot to the people of Charlotte. Yeah, I'm gonna get in trouble. But it was a beautiful scene. People of every race, every color, men, women, children. It was a real example of being a mixing pot, and the only thing that was that lacked the cherry on the top is the fact that we let in that one goal, but it was a worldie. Let's give it that. It was a good goal.
Oh, I was watching that at a party, and I just golazo. I was just like, you like, if you're gonna lose, that's a hell of a
at least it was that goal. Can you imagine if you'd lost off like a dodgy deflection or an error from a player? That would have hurt so much more. So, and you know what, everyone's giving us stick because now we don't open the top of the bowl, but the numbers have still been great. 29,000, 30,000. It's still very good audiences for an MLS side, and it's only going to continue to grow now that we're getting some results.
People don't seem to give Seattle crap for they close off the top and they still get like 40 to 45, and Atlanta at times will close off like Red Bull Arena. Like it's a common occurrence. Let's be honest. You're playing in a bigger stadium. It's a common occurrence.
I think Red Bull for other reasons, though, Justin. If I'm being quite honest.
Well, other reasons.
Jess, what is it with you? You bring a big crowd wherever club you're going to.
What can I say? There's a charm. There's a charms of an English woman talking about soccer, I think.
Well, we do have to mention that. How was that transition been like? So when I first met you, you were Atlanta United. It was Atlanta United everything, and of course we did invite our buddy Pancake Poppy, who seems to be the infamous former Atlanta United fan, now a Charlotte FC. But how's that transition been for you? Yeah.
Look, let's be honest. When people compare me to Pancake, I don't think that's a fair comparison. Pancake went from being a supporter of one club to a supporter of the other. Now, he also lives in the Carolinas, so it makes sense. Right. You can't give someone crap from switching when they got a team that was close to them. A lot of Atlanta United fans won't admit it, but they followed Orlando City before. Let's be real. Like, they hate Orlando now, but I bet there's a lot of Atlanta United fans that Orlando was their closest side. For me, listen, it's all love with Atlanta United, really. I'm grateful for every opportunity I was given. It was an amazing time of my life, but it's just like a player. At the end of the day, when a player gets a transfer over, look at Anton Walks from Atlanta United to Charlotte. Who are you going to represent? The team that is paying your bills. And for me, I got the dream job opportunity. Mike Conti's not going anywhere. Jason Longshaw's not going anywhere. Kevin Egan's not going anywhere. There's no space in Atlanta United's MLS side for me to get an opportunity calling the game. So the dream came. I jumped over, and Charlotte FC has been nothing but welcoming to me. They've been amazing. They've taken me under their arms as one of their own. So, it's okay. You can switch your allegiances, particularly if it comes with your dream career.
Absolutely. I mean, I think for myself, Jess, all of us here, we want to see this league progress and grow, and being able to see Atlanta not just be the dominant kings of the South. You have a little bit of competition with Nashville. You got Charlotte now, the big boys in the league. And oh, by the way, Orlando is not the same Orlando that we all remember well. So having those organic rivalries, not things that the MLS are forcing down our throats, is very important for the growth.
I love how you left Inter Miami out as a competitive side.
Well, let's be honest. The only thing they're being competitive with is the how quickly they can change coaches.
Don't get me started on Higuain, but it's so important in the South to have this. I think when I moved to America, I moved to Georgia, I moved to the South, and there was this big stigma around the South. Oh, they don't really like soccer down there. It's about NASCAR. It's about football,
College football.
On the same wavelength, man. And so it's so good to see Charlotte FC filling the bowl, Atlanta United filling the bowl, creating those rivalries. And rivalries aside, the most important thing is that it's a win for the league. When you have clubs over the league filling their stadiums, performing, bringing young players across, talented young players, that's what we want for a successful, soccer league in MLS. And it's gaining respect. And I can talk from coming from England, 10 years ago, people would have given me so much shit for supporting an MLS side or for working for an MLS side. Now it's very exciting because they can see the value in the league. You can't call it a retirement league anymore. You can
that's
call
very
it
odd now.
Yeah. So I think it's a great time for the game, and we love it. And you talk about MLS throwing rivalries down the throat, and I think this one's going to become very organically created to an extent.
Absolutely. All right. Well, let's get to talking about your Charlotte FC. It's been an interesting start, like we mentioned. You guys started off with a couple of L's, 3 straight L's to start off the season, but now you guys have pulled off 2 straight W's, winning by 2 goals in both matchups. And look, we've been making a lot of jokes here in Philadelphia about Cincinnati Union. It's definitely been a joke that we've beaten down to death. But beating New England, I know they've been going through some injuries, but that's pretty impressive at home. Like, what has it been like so far from your eyes of Charlotte FC?
Look, I think at the start of the season, I was preaching patience. I was preaching the fact that Miguel Angel Ramirez, the head coach for Charlotte FC, has a very difficult system. It's a system of possession based. It's a system of wanting the ball defensively, moving, being patient, and creating spaces. It's a system that not everyone's comfortable with. When I preach patience, I'll be real with you guys, I didn't expect them to look so comfortable in just 5 games. I was looking at midway through the season that we were going to really start to cohesively get together. It's been a really good improvement when you look at preseason versus now of where they've got to, and they're playing good soccer. They're riding the waves of pressure. Actually, in the 2 matches, the FC Cincinnati one, even though they got a clean sheet, was probably the shakier of the 2. Towards the end of the first half, FC Cincinnati really brought the game to Charlotte FC. And I've said before, I think that sorry, I'm reading your comments. These people. Listen, cute, but it was harder than I expected. I thought going into it that would have been the easier match, but they brought it to them. The opportunities that FC Cincy had, though, give those away against you guys, you bury them. And I've said that time and time again on our podcast. I think it was a great pre-match for us before playing you, because we've learned some lessons about not giving away the quality of those opportunities.
Absolutely. Justin, you got anything for a girl, Jess here?
No, we've been joking, when your head coach says in no uncertain terms, we're fucked. And don't get me wrong.
We can say we're screwed. We called it Screwed Gate. Come on.
It was an interesting preseason because you didn't really know. There was a lot of moves, both player personnel and even front office staff within the league, and players being sold and deals falling through, and it was kind of a what is going on here, and then of course, as I wrote about it in our preview on our site. Listen, it's for all the jokes that 3 losses in 5 games. The losses were pretty close. I mean, DC, you had an unfortunate, what you thought was the first goal, chalked off the VAR, and then 2 PK, and then, a worldie against the Galaxy, and you talk about deflection goal, Christian Fuchs, man, that's just talk about crappy luck and just standing in the way. But yeah, for all things aside, won 2 in a row. I would say the Revs one definitely holds more weight, even with a rotated squad. They still had Carlos Heel. they still have some pretty dynamic options. And listen, I always love seeing Bruce Arena lose because I have a lot of reservations about that man, that cocky SOB. But
If you can't tell, he's a big USMNT fan over here.
oh yeah, God, that man should stay far away from the national team ever again.
Listen, you're right. The New England Revs game was one where a lot of people would have written us off immediately. We took the game to New England, which I think is what we need to do against you guys too. What my fear is sometimes that teams go against you and they try and park the bus, they try and defend against your insane press and physicality, and you can't do that. I'm hoping that Charlotte FC goes in and doesn't offer that same level of respect that a lot of clubs do and comes in and tries to bring the game to you guys. And that's what they did against New England. They didn't show that respect. They stepped in, they believe they can win it. And I think that attitude comes from the manager, right? Look at the Atlanta United loss. Most teams away from home with a 1-1 draw would go and park the bus. What did Charlotte FC do? They went to attack. They went to try and get the winning goal. Did it come back to bite you on the arse? Yes, it did. But I like that winning mentality. He believes he can be competitive with his side against anybody he plays against at this point. And he's feeling very good as the manager. It's a very changed tone from the comments that you brought up that probably made the best sound bites of the league, I'm pretty sure, for anyone that wasn't involved with Charlotte FC.
Listen, we'll gladly let Charlotte hold possession of the ball because, as the NYCFC game showed, the Union don't need 30% possession to put the ball in the back of the net.
And that's it. I think we're going to need to be very clean with the possession, right? Because the risk of how we play is we want to build out the back. But what happens if you press and you force the turnover when you're playing it out the back? You're one-on-one with our goalkeeper. But I'll tell you this, you'll have a good goalkeeper, but have you seen ours?
Yes, we have. And you talk about Pancake. He's was already posting best goalkeeper in the league, and I was like, whoa. We got 2-time goalie.
It's early days. I don't want to jinx it. There's something called a curse of a commentator, and I feel like if I praise him too highly, I'm going to see one go through his legs or something like that. But he's been outstanding so far and has been what we've needed because, again, with this system, you're going to give away those one-on-ones and you need a goalkeeper that's willing to put his body, his mind, his face on the line, and he's done just that.
All right, so I've had a lot of questions about from Union fans about Karol Swiderski. Am I pronouncing it right?
Yes. Swiderski, yes.
Swiderski. Hey, it took me 6 months to learn Kasper Shabilko. So, but he's pretty damn dangerous. And he scored a lot of goals so far from you. What makes, for those who haven't watched, what makes him so dangerous on the attack?
I think the first things first, you cannot read articles from him written by MLS Online because they'll talk about him being a target forward, and he is far from that. What Karol Swiderski does so well is get involved with the link-up play. He is so fluid in his positioning. You'll see him on the touchline. You'll see him drop into his own half to put in a cracking tackle on one of your midfielders and create an opportunity for someone ahead of him. He has really good vision. He finds splitting passes. So he's the full team player. And then on top of that link-up play that he's able to provide, look at how he can strike a ball. I mean, the free kick is great. The strike of the ball from distance to open up his account, fantastic. And I think where he becomes dangerous is, how a lot of times you may have a mentality or let them take rips from outside the box, right? You think, okay, from there, it's not a risk. Well, with Karol Swiderski, that's not the case. He is a true danger man. And I think what we've done well in improving and playing is adding the extra player up top. Daniel Rios, the Nashville transfers, worked really hard off the ball to create the space for him. But you give Karol Swiderski an inch of space and he can punish you.
Sounds like he's almost as good as Daniel Gaz. No, I'm just totally kidding.
No, but I mean, you talk about attacking players. The player that's already getting, as I say early, but Gold Cup 2023 nods is number 1 overall pick and one of the best names in MLS, Ben Bender.
Everyone loves how I say Ben Bender when I get excited. There's been a lot of people like, can you just say his name again? I mean, what a phenomenal find he has been. Absolutely phenomenal. Now, keyword, and this includes Swiderski too. Remember, we're 5 games in. Consistency is what makes the true mark of a player. I don't want to get ahead of myself and be like, yeah, best pick ever, because, he's still young. He's got to, stay involved with the game. But what I'm so impressed with is the way he's adjusted, right? I've played NCAA. The difference between NCAA and MLS is huge. The speed of play, the way that the gaps disappear. And for him with his vision, he's even talked to us about it on our podcast. When he was in NCAA, he had, seconds to react and find those gaps. Now it's milliseconds. Yet he doesn't seem to have missed a beat with it. And his physicality, again, a lot of time when you see rookies come in, where are their little lacks with that physicality because of their build? He's not built like a big dude, but he's very strong in the one-on-ones, in the duels. He's got a good finish on him. And I think 3 assists in 3 starts, not bad stats for a rookie.
Justin, I do want to ask you to kind of bring it back to our side. Obviously, when you're talking about the key points of this upcoming match, Swiderski, how do you think that Jim Curtin will try to find a way to slow him down? I won't say stop because it's going to be tough to stop him.
No, you can. I mean, he draws a lot of fouls. Now, that works in our favor with how he is from the set piece. But I see you guys letting him know that you're there, right? When I talk about, I'm reading these, I can't speak and read at the same time. Go Terps. Yeah, go Terps. I mean, how brilliant was he with Maryland? But I think that if you let him know you're there, it makes it very difficult. If you frustrate him for a long time, it makes him difficult. I think what you want to do is swarm on him immediately as soon as he has the ball. And we've seen a lot of that. But you can't commit those fouls in dangerous areas. So that makes it very difficult for a defender when you're caught in 2 minds between, okay, I need to step to him. I can't let him strike, but I also don't want to give away the foul because he can strike the dead ball. So it's catch-22. I also think that, don't get distracted from the decoy runs of other players. Oftentimes that can leave you open. So you've got to have someone. Perhaps you go with a man marking strategy. Who knows?
Well, we're not San Jose. Let's man marking this league tires you out. But Johnny, to answer your question, I think it's gonna rely on a combination of our guest from last night, Leon Flock, and El Brujo. I think. Listen, we saw what Golden Boot winner Tati Castellanos, can do when he's on his game. But we also saw what happens when obviously when Leon and Brujo are in sync. And Leon mentioned it last night, and it's key. The two of them, besides the fact that Leon covers so much ground, he covers the most ground of anyone on the team by far. And you talk about letting Swiderski being known that someone's there. I will say the one thing that Jose Martinez is doing better this season is he's still being physical. He's still being a pest. He is still being that destroyer. The difference is I think he's kind of altered his game so that he's not committing these silly fouls.
He's getting away with it. He's getting away with it.
But that's it's I think last season, really, like I said, when you're by the second season in, you're starting to learn how the refs call things, and we basically, he's our Diego Chara, and he's gonna get yellows. He's gonna get yellows. That's how it's gonna be. But with the way that this midfield is operating, I think the key to shutting down Swiderski is, and I've been saying this for almost every team that the Union faced so far this season, you shut down their attacking mid, you shut down that connection, you sever the offense.
But I will tell you what's difficult with Swiderski is he's going to go back and he's going to create those opportunities for himself. And that's where I think he has a different dynamic to a lot of forwards, that he gets involved with it himself. But who knows?
Jeff, you have a question here in the comments section. What is Fuchs' role going to be going against the Union this weekend?
Well, he's started every game so far, and he's the captain. So he's going to be playing a lot of soccer. We've played with a back 3. We've played with a back 4. The 3 is obviously with a back 5, but we call it a back 3.
Yeah.
So it depends where he's going to slot in on that. He can play at left back of a back 4 potentially. He can play as a centre back. He's going to have to really play smart. There are a couple of moments. He's a quality player, right? We can't ever deny that. His legacy with Leicester, his performances, he's done really well for us. Obviously, he's an older player. He isn't as fast as potentially other defenders, but that's where I think someone like Christian McCoon, if he's back from his Venezuelan international duty, if he gets on, he offers the pace to cover. But you know what? I've seen Fuchs make breaks. When we played with a back 3, man, that guy was driving forwards over the halfway line. So don't underestimate Fuchs. There are moments where he's a little shaky in possession, but he is also a huge leader, and watch him from set plays because, as I said on my broadcast, he can leap like a salmon. That is a clear soundbite on our radio station.
That is definitely a British thing. Our founder of Philly Sports Network, Liam Jenkins, is he's based out of England, and obviously runs a Philly Sports Network all the way out in England. But when we used to do our during the MLS is back, we did our live watch alongs, and he would always say that. Leaping like a salmon.
Exactly. It's a perfect simile.
We love it. Justin, the potential. Carranza and Ua.
And see, that's the thing. I think a back 3, if Ua, which he's been practicing since last week. Jim did say he's gonna make an impact whether as a starter or as a sub. I think the difference between Union striker cores in the past is that our strikers have speed and a lot of speed,
which is scary. Like I said, that's where we're a little nervous with those moments. And we've seen Anton Walks practicing. Who knows? Maybe he comes in. He has experience against you guys. He knows what he's doing. We also have a couple of other center backs. That's our most competitive role. But I don't see Fuchs coming out of the lineup just because of the stalwart presence he has.
And that's going to be the most interesting thing is we've seen Carranza drop deep. That he likes to link up with Gazdag. That has been one of the biggest parts, and it's been one of the biggest benefits, despite the obvious lack of possession that the Union crave, which is at this point. Possession numbers listen,
it's an underrated stat. I say that all the time. Look, possession means nothing if you don't do shit with it, right? Like, to put it bluntly, like, it's important. It's when you're utilizing possession. So yeah,
and that's the thing. Like the Union's possession numbers, like if they're above 40%, it's typically not a great game because the teams are willing.
Maybe we'll just give you the ball. We'll just give you the ball then.
That's the thing. But like, what the Union have done with the possession that they've had is having a striker now. I've been saying this all season. Having a striker like Carranza has allowed, first of all, you compared to the past, I love Casper, but Casper could not connect. He could drop deep, but he was not great to give and go, was not very mobile, just gunked up the high intensity flow of the offense. And obviously, we've only seen Ua in the 25 minutes or so that we saw in Montreal. But as we've been saying, he created 2 chances by himself that were pretty good chances. And I think Sergio's been playing really well. Corey is, again, you're starting to see the depth. Carranza has, I believe, 3 assists at this point. You're starting to see a lot more production from your striker core. You have, as Zach says, your MVP candidate, Daniel Gazdag, already has 3 goals. Ali has 2. Your Corey has 2. You're starting to see more production, and I think in the past, the one thing that the Union have changed and Jim Curtin has evolved is it's not a full Red Bull, gegenpress. It's not a full go. It is a selective press. And I think in those moments, if like I said, if playing out of the back is going to generate some chances, that's where I think the Union are going to have to strike. And I think the difference between the teams that Charlotte has played and the Union is that the Union don't need many chances to put the ball in the back of the net. If you give them 4 chances, they could put 2 in the net, and it could be they could choke out the game. It could be a 2-0 game. Just look at NYCFC. I mean, they were trying to, the second half, they were pushing and pushing and pushing, and it resulted in nothing. It resulted in a big dust up, which, as we told Leon, the fact that he was in the middle of that was still wild. And surprisingly, nothing came of that. It just shows you how crazy disco can be in this league. But it's going to be an interesting matchup, and I think the at least for me, the matchup that I'm looking forward to is how the Union front 3 goes against the Charlotte defense, because if they do play in that back 3/back 5, obviously depending on whether you have the ball or not, I think that's going to be key to really just, forcing the turnovers, because the Union have surprisingly been doing a pretty good job so far this season of forcing those turnovers, of forcing the loose ball and creating solid chances. And this Union team is, we've been talking about, we thought the Supporters Shield team was the top. Well, last year topped it. And from what we're seeing this year, it's only getting better. And this is a very dangerous team, and a team in Charlotte that is, I think people are now starting to not discount and starting to realize that they're going to give you a solid fight. So I am excited for this game, but I'm also excited for the potential offensive, firepower that is going to come from this game. Whether there's a lot of goals might not be the case, but there's going to be a lot of chances.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's what you live for.
So right now, we do have a surprise for Jess. We have not just one former Atlanta United fan, but we have both of the former Atlanta United fans out here with Charlotte FC. Pancake Poppy, what's up, Pancake? So good to see
what's
you,
up,
brother.
man? Good to see everybody.
Yeah, man. Dude, how's the Charlotte life treating you, man? You look good in blue, by the way.
Thank you. It's treating me well. It's been amazing so far, and I'm loving it.
You're loving the banter as well, right? It's been nice that you've taken. It's good because you can take off a little bit of the stick from me. I can always redirect it back to you.
Yeah, right. Especially for that particular fan base.
Don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I love Pancake because he'll troll, but then he'll have like a little smirk on his face while he's trolling. It's great.
Oh yeah, come on. Pancake and I have been going back and forth with it regularly about some things, and it's funny seeing some of the old Atlanta United people come through, and it's just like, y'all don't have anything better to do, like.
Right.
All right. So, Pancake, perfect timing here because I do want to get some predictions for this upcoming weekend.
Okay.
Pancake, you just got on here, my man. So, kind of tell us how you feel about this upcoming weekend and give us a prediction for Union versus Charlotte FC on Saturday night.
Okay, I think since we've finally found our form, I think this is like a first true test for our form, right? And so I think a win this weekend would really prove that we got that form going and we got it going down. So. My prediction, I'm going to say 2-1, Charlotte, 2-1.
Look at that. Nothing changed with Pancake. We love him for that. Let's go. All right, Jess, what about you? What do you think is going to happen this upcoming weekend?
All right, I got to remember who my employers are first and foremost for my prediction. No, listen, I'm going to go with a 1-1 draw. We'll come back. You'll get a goal. And we'll ride the wave. Kalina will make a few really important saves that are 1-0 trailing. And then we'll get like a 90+2 goal. It'll be like an Atlanta United feeling where we crumbled against Atlanta United. We'll have the opposite feeling of elation when we get that equalizer. And it'll be Christian Fuchs. How about that for the guy that asked me about the role Fuchs will play? Christian Fuchs from a header, from a corner.
There you go. All right, Justin. What about you, my man? What do you think happens this upcoming Saturday?
I as I said, I think the question is really going to be who is in the front 3 and how are they going to perform with the chances, the limited chances that they get, because we saw what the Union can do with just under 30% possession. and you've seen it all season where they have thrived on pushing it on sometimes being a little slow in the first half, but I'm still not sure if Uwa starts. I think this could be a prime game for his speed. I think this could be a game for him to break out, but I also am not 100% sure that, as Jim said, he felt like he kind of forced them in against Montreal. And obviously, even with the chances, that did lead to a bit of an injury break. So it's going to be a tight one. I initially had this as a 3-1, and this was before the Cincinnati game and before the shellacking against the Revolution. I still think I still think the Union win. I think it's a closer game than I thought. I'm going to say 2-1. And I think Swiderski still gets his goal. But I think Gazdag adds to his total. And I'm going to say a game winner from Uwa. I think he, as we saw against Montreal, he doesn't need a lot of space behind the defender to make the separation. He's not pushed off the ball. He creates his own chances. He's a more direct runner to the net, which is what we really haven't seen from many Union strikers. And I think when it comes down to it, the Union finish their chances with the limited chances that they have. And I think that's been a huge difference. This season has been that they're actually finishing the limited chances that they have. And we haven't seen that in the past. And I think this is going to be a tight one. I think this is going to be a struggle. Charlotte will look for ways to break through the Union defense. And as our color commentary man Denny Higginbotham has said, the Union are not a defensive team. They are a team that has a defensive spine that just works well with the attacking nature of the team. And so by design, your offensive system helps to provide a stable defense. So I think it could be a very boring game. It could be fireworks. The Union really there's no middle ground. There's not one way or the other. But in the end, I think the Union squeeze it out. And I think it's a late Uwa winner. I think he
Uwa for
Don't
the
do that
win.
to me. Don't do that to me.
I will say I do agree with Justin. I do think that the Brits make great color commentators, as we've been enjoying Danny as well here up in Philadelphia. And I do need a Union win this upcoming weekend because as Pancake and Jess are both pretty close to it. As everyone knows, we announced it yesterday. I'm obviously rooting for the U.S. M&T this upcoming World Cup because my Colombia could not make it to the World Cup. And I'm glad you guys are both here because I feel like you guys understand the pain that I am going through currently this whole entire week. It's been rough. It's been absolutely rough in this household so far.
Yeah, it's tough times with a Colombian husband. I know exactly how you are feeling. He has woken up every day depressed, but as I explained to him, it saves England beating Colombia again on a penalty shootout.
Oh,
Oh!
the fireworks in that household. It's been absolutely, it really has. But hey, so now we get to root for the USMNT, which I'm excited. Jess, do you partake in watching the United States men's national team?
Yeah, of course. I watch whatever soccer I can, and I've got a green card now, so I've at least got to root for the US. Plus, I mean, I get two teams in the pot, so I've got two chances, right?
So, all right. So, what are the realistic chances here, guys? Like, what are we talking here? Are we talking like 2002 United States? Like, what is the expectations here for United States in this World Cup?
I think it always depends on the group. Like, you talk about 2014.
Don't give them the group of death, please.
Well, but 2014 was the group of death, and they made it through. Like, they should not have made it through that group. That was the toughest group that they've had, and you could have semi-easy groups and have 2006 where you don't make it past the group stage. So I think, honestly, with the pots that we've seen, it's tough to say. As long as you don't have two tough teams, I think, as I say, it's that's where the group of death comes in. If you have another, obviously, thank God we don't have to do Germany again because that was not a fun situation. But as long as you don't have two teams like that, if you have a Germany and Portugal again, I don't know if you're getting out, even with the young talent that you have. So it's just the luck of the pot draw at this point.
I think this is probably like more of like a dress rehearsal for 26 for the U.S. I think
That
that
takes-
Well, because you don't have to worry about qualifying until after 2026. That's the nice thing. This was the last game that meant and anything. And for those who say, oh well, they lost the last game against Costa Rica, the 4 points leading up to that made it so that game did not matter.
But don't you think the biggest issue with the US right now is they blow hot and cold, right? And in tournament football, it's unforgiving. You have to get that level of consistency over a short space of time. You have to play well, game after game with a couple of days in between. If they can find that consistency and play like they did, 2 games ago, then you're feeling pretty confident. But if you play like you did last night, then that's unforgiving. And if you make it through into the knockout rounds and you play like you did last night, you've got a problem. You're done, But I'm telling you, I'm having premonitions that England and the US will be drawn together, and that'll be fun.
Like 2010 again?
Yeah, I think it's coming, man.
another fumbled goal.
This time we might not have the gift of a Joe Hart blunder.
Oh my gosh!
Joe
Don't talk
Hart.
to me about poor Joe Hart. How the great have fallen.
Where's Joe Hart at these days? Is he still playing?
Celtic. I'm pretty sure still.
I have no idea. He's
That
off
was-
my
that was
radar
the
now.
last- Well, I saw when he had a not graceful exit from Spurs after City.
Yes,
he
on
bounced
the
around the
bench.
Premier League a bit. That's a man who is how the mighty have fallen.
Just before we do go, I do have to ask: will it finally come home?
No. No. If we can't win the Euros and we lose on penalties, I can't handle that again. You know what? I think I would rather take an exit in the semi-finals than losing the finals on penalties again. I can't take it. It's not fair. It's just not fair.
Italy's not there to beat you this time though, so.
Yeah. Hello, North Macedonia.
Yeah, that's still. What was it? I had someone say to me that Italy should have already qualified for the World Cup and for winning the Euros. I said no, because they were in the playoff. They got themselves in that situation, and to lose to North Macedonia, you don't deserve to make the World Cup if you can't. They say CONCACAF is weak. Well, England plays San Marino is different than the U.S.
Europe's a big. There's a lot of places in Europe, so the level drop off is pretty huge.
That is very, very true. Well, listen, guys, this is going to do it for another episode of Doop by the River. I do want to give big special thanks to our friends from Charlotte, our Charlotte team down there in Charlotte, North Carolina. Pancake Poppy, truly, thank you so much for making some time out here and getting the thoughts from the fans. And it's always great to see you, man. I love you in blue these days, man. And obviously, we got the family growing for you as well. It's crazy how we've come along in 2 years, my man. But it's always a pleasure to see you, man. And of course, we had the great Jess Charmaine, and you can of course find her color commentating for the Charlotte FC games. So make sure you guys follow her on Twitter. The handle is right there as well. Jess, seriously, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to hang out with us. That's crazy.
Anytime, guys. Fingers crossed for a good match. That's all I want. A competitive, good match,
Absolutely.
No injuries. That's all that matters, right?
And
It's a long season.
when we're down, like I said, I'm coming down for the Union Charlotte game. So
There you go.
like I said, that's where I hope to see some fireworks both games.
We got you, man. We got you.
We're gonna have to get Pancake and match in the future as well. I'll get you up here in Philadelphia. Get you some cheese sticks. Pancake got himself some cheese sticks before when his first trip up here, his first round. But we got to get you guys some cheese sticks up here for sure.
Definitely.
With whiz wit for sure.
Yeah.
All right, good stuff. Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for this episode. Doop by the River. Thank you so much for tuning on in, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you guys hit that like button, subscribe for all of your Doop by the River live viewings, and of course, make sure to find us on PSN Radio. Ladies and gentlemen, that is Pancake Poppy. That is Jess Charmaine. That is Justin, #1 bald goalkeeper in CONCACAF Friedberg. Of course, I go by the name of El Parcero Philly, and we're telling you guys to Doop